We are going to discuss functions in Python. In the last lecture we discussed about what is function, what are the advantage of function, what are the different types of function, and how we can define a user defined function. So in this lecture we are going to discuss function with arguments, function without argument, function returning values, and function not returning values through some example. So first one is functions with arguments. So we can write program in function using different ways. We can pass values to a function, we cannot pass values to a function, and different ways. So first we are looking about functions with arguments. So here, what is an argument? The value passed through function call is called argument. Okay, and that or variable that is used to receive values from argument is values in function definition is called parameter. So here how the execution will goes on. First line executes. At that time Python interpreter identifies this is a function definition, so it will not execute the next two lines. So it execute the fourth line, that is x equal to int input enter radius. So we can enter the radius. Then what happened? That value is passed through the function call. So here we are passing a value through function call. That is why it is called functions with argument. Whenever we are passing a value through a function call, there must be a variable corresponding there in function header. Suppose if you are passing two values, there must be two values in the function header, otherwise it will be an error. So what happens? When it execute function call, the control goes to the function definition and execute the statements inside the function definition. So it is a equal to 2 into 3.14 into r, it calculates and display the result. Then what happens? It goes to the next statement. This way the function with argument is executed. Nothing else, just we are passing a value through function call. Next one is function without argument. In function without argument, through function call we are not passing any values. So if you are not passing any values through function call, then no need to specify any parameters in the function header. So here also where the execution start, first line execute, at that time it identifies it is a function definition, so it will not execute the next lines. Then it execute the function call, directly goes to the function definition. Then what happens? Execute the lines in the function definition. So here the value of radius is reading, then find the area and display. So here no values we are passing, so it is called functions without argument. That's the difference between function with argument and function without argument. So when we are writing program through function, we can use any of this method. We can pass value to the function, or we can use function without any value, that is without any argument. Next is returning values from function. In the previous example, we just display the value in the function definition only. But in Python, we can do it in another way also. That is, we can return a value or we cannot return a value. So here, there are two ways we can return values. Function returning some values or function not returning value. So the function returning values are called non-void functions, and function not returning any values are called void function. Not returning means what? Void means what? Null. So if it is not returning any value, that is called void function. If it is returning some value, it is called non-void function. So if it is returning some value, if the function is returning some values to our main program, then we are using the statement called return then corresponding value. Okay, whenever the function returns a value, then we are using the statement return then give the value. So the value can be literal, variable, or expression. Okay, using return statement we can specify a literal, variable, or expressions. That is, we can return any of these three type. with return statement. But you know what is literal? This is a constant. So we can directly return a constant value through return function. Otherwise we can use some variables, return sum, return area, or any variable we can use, or we can use some expression. Okay, so these type of values we can return using return statement. So consider one example. Def sum a comma b is equal to a plus b, return as. Consider this is a function definition. Here name of the function is sum. A and b are the parameters. Here return statement is used. Then we are using the function called result equal to sum 5 comma 6. So what will happen? 5 is passed to a and 6 is passed to b. What will happen? It is calculating s equal to a plus b. So s equal to 11. Return s. Whenever it saw the statement return, what will happen? The value is internally substituted to the function call. So instead of sum 5 comma 6, what is the value returned from here? That will be substituted. So the result equal to 11. Here that value is assigned to one variable called result. This way function with return statement is working. Okay. So function returning values are also called fruitful function, or it is also called non-void function. Two names are there. Function returning values are called fruitful functions, or we can say it is a non-void function. Second case, function not returning value. They are called void function. So if the function is not returning any value to the caller program means what? Which program is calling the function? That is mainly our main program. So if the function is not returning any value to the caller, it is called void function. So in the case of void function, may or may not have return statement. That is, we are not returning any value to the caller function. So we can use simply return statement, or we cannot leave it. That is why it is written a void function may or may not have return statement. If a void function have return statement, it takes the form return. No need to specify any literal expression or variable. Just write the value, write the keyword return. Okay, I will show an example. Okay, before going to example, just go through this. The void function does not return value, but they return a legal empty value to a Python, that is called none. If you are writing return, that means it is not returning any value, but legally it returned a value called none. So a void function is also called non-fruitful function. And another one more thing, every void function returns none x to a caller. Every void function, if you are not writing any return statement, directly it will return none. So here void functions are also called non-fruitful function. Non-void functions are called fruitful function, and void functions are called non-fruitful function. Let's see one example. This example is to find the sum of two values. Function definition with return statement. Here no values are returned, so it is a void function. So what happens? It reads execute the num1 statement and num2 statement. So it reads two numbers. Print calc sum num1 comma num2. What happens if we execute this statement? It directly goes to the function definition. Suppose I give num1 equal to 5 and num2 equal to 3. What happens? Num1 is passed to x. So 5 is passed to x and 3 is passed to y. So what happens? S equal to x plus y. So the result is 8. Print this. It display the value 8. Return none. No values returning. So what is the value? If we illegally, what is the value returned? If we are not returning any other values, means literal expression or variable, it will return none. So here again print statement, here it is replaced by none, so it will print none. So our result is like this. Enter first number, we entered the value 3. Enter second number, we entered the value 5. So after that it goes to the function definition. Printers means it displays 8. Here return, no values are returned, so it will display none. This way function without return statement. Function without return statement means void functions are working. Okay. Then next, here some example. First case, a function is defined, function name is great without any argument and without any return statement. So it's a void function but no return statement. That is, I already told, void function may or may not have return statement. Both are void functions. Okay, here no return statement. Here void function with return statement. We can also write function like this. Here in this case, what will happen? None values return. Then next one, we can write here also another method. In these two examples, no arguments are passing. That is why no parameter values are variables are there. In this case, what happens? One parameter is there. Here also it is a void function with no return statement. Here void function with return statement. So we can write function in 4 ways. Okay, function must be a combination of 4 types. 4 combination of functions. Non-void function without any argument. Non-void function with arguments. Void function without any argument and void function with some argument. These 4 ways we can add functions in a program. These 4 types are valid. And then another one thing, we can use any number of function call in a function. Here for example, area is defined. 2 function calls are there but with 2 different parameters. This also works in Python. We can use any number because function is used to do the same task for different inputs. So we can use, if you want to use the same method or same function for 5 times, we can use 5 function call. So we can include any number of function call in a particular program. Next, it's just an example program. Find the output of the program. Def great print hello, a equal to great print a. So here how the execution will goes. In the first case, def great means it is a function definition, so it will not execute this statement. Then it directly goes to a equal to great. So what happens? The function call, it executes the function definition, it prints hellos. Then what happens? A equal to great. A equal to great means here no values are returning, but here what is the value printing by a? None. Okay. It's another one example. So here what happens? Def replicate print this. Here print replicates. Here function call is there. It directly goes to a function definition. Just display $$$. And here not returning any value. So it displays. Here it displays none. In the second case, return statement is there. Here calling function replicate directly goes to a function definition and return this value. So it only one time. So this value is replaced in function call. So it display $$$$. So this is an example to find the factorial of a number using function. You already studied how to write the factorial of a number. Just write the logic in a function definition, and as an argument we pass which number factorial we are going to find. Just pass the argument. One more thing. Here this is one of the common error occurring function because factorial here no argument is given, but in the function header one parameter is given. So this causes an type error in Python because the number of argument passed through function call must be equal to the number of parameters defined in function header. Otherwise it will cause type error. So when you are writing function, you must be careful about these things. Next topic we will discuss on next section. Thank you.